Hi there, welcome back. It's been a while, roughly about a month I guess, since I recorded my last video. For those of you that are new to my channel, this channel is primarily focusing on my knitting and crocheting projects, and I have been known to throw in a little bit of sewing, most recently in my last episode, and some cross stitch. However, I haven't done any sewing recently, purely because I've not really felt the urge. I have been doing quite a lot of cross stitch, but I only have a couple of pieces to share with you. I kind of got into it a bit this month. Really strange for me, not what I would normally do, but for some reason I really got into it. I've been watching Simply in Stitches podcast, and I've been really enjoying her beginner tutorials. And they've helped me a bit as well, so I decided to kind of take up a little bit more, well, pay a little bit more attention to my cross stitching. Anyway, so it's coming up to Christmas, so I've been working on my Christmas knits, which I will be gifting to people. Some of the stuff I have been making I have already gifted, so you will only be able to see photographs. I'll try and remember to insert photographs of those projects. Some stuff I have been working on for myself, but I kind of put those on hold while I finish up my Christmas knits. So without further ado, let's get into the finished objects. For the finished objects portion of the video, I think I'm going to start with the shawls that I've been working on, or shawl. I managed to finish up the barkline shawl, which I think I showed you in the last video. I've been working on barkline shawl by Joji Locatelli, and I was really impressed. I've already wrapped it up in tissue paper ready to go. Really pleased with myself for how I managed to finish that up. Very easy pattern. I would say it is a great pattern for a beginner that wants to do something slightly more than knit and purl. And I think the only tricky bits in the pattern were probably make one right, make one left, and what was the other thing? Twisted rib. If you can't do twisted rib, then, I mean, it's pretty easy. Twisted rib is pretty easy once you know what it is you're supposed to do, because you're just knitting into the back of the stitches as opposed to in the front. So I think you could do it. The border is a little bit tricky, but I'll go into that in a second. So this is the barkline shawl that I have finished up. I'll try and scoot back a bit so you can see. This is it in all its glory. I am absolutely head over heels with this. I've made it with somebody in mind, so it's going to be a gift. And I like it so much I've started another one, and I will show you that in a moment when I do the whips. But yeah, I've managed to do this. It's mainly garter stitch for the light brown bits, and then twisted rib there, and then it's got a lovely border. As you can probably see, it's a triangular shaped shawl. I did have a little bit of trouble blocking it because my blocking mats are not, I don't have a whole heap of blocking mats, so I folded it in half down the middle. Probably a big faux pas, but that's what I did, and then I blocked it like that because that's all I had the space for. And then I had to block these when I finished knitting these weren't pointy. The edges were not pointy, so I've had to block them so that they do point. You've had to stretch them so that they peak, if that's a better word, in particular places, so you can see, really accentuate the border. But the border, oh sorry if I'm jiggling the camera, I really loved it. That's the border. It's just twisted rib, but it is so effective and it just looks so nice. So although it's not for me, I'm going to quickly show you how it looks when I put it on. This is, oh, I just love it. I love it, and I wish that I had made it for myself, because I think it being brown, it goes with so many of my outdoor wear, and you can probably just wear it as a that's how I would wear it, either like that to kind of put in the gap when I've got my coat on, so I'll have my coat like that and just wrap that over the top, probably over the top like that, so you can see it. I wouldn't necessarily wear a shawl around my shoulders the way I guess it's probably designed to wear, like that. Maybe if I'm in the house I'd wear it like this just to keep keep the chill off. Excuse the whistling in the background, that's my kids. But yeah, that is it. I love it. I think it's so pretty, and I really hope that she likes it. So anyway, the yarn I've used is Mr. Bird yarns, I think that's what it's called, which is the brown one in the colourway Filbert, and then the darker brown is by Artist Palette yarns, and that's the colour Mud Pie, and you can probably see the darker brown a bit better in the border. But yeah, that's my first whip that I'm sharing with you. Not whip, finished object. I'm really pleased with it, and it's so light. It's so light and lovely. I've also finished up this Rainbow Ripple blanket. You saw this last time round. I haven't quite finished it. I think I'd got up to maybe the purple bit, and then I had not quite done the white yet, but it's done, it's finished. I'm leaning right back so you can see it. It's star shaped. This is crochet, and I love it. It is so pretty. It's quite big, look, it's quite a big blanket, and I think it's so lovely and colourful. I haven't yet decided who I was going to gift it to, but I think it's going to go to my niece who's expecting a baby. And so yeah, the colours I've used are mainly Stylecraft yarns. So these 4 colours here, no, these 3 are Stylecraft. This is a Hayfield yarn in the colour blue. This is Emperor by Stylecraft double knitting, special DK yarn. That is Boysenberry, that is Lipstick. And the 2 brighter colours, the orange and the yellow, are James C. Brett yarns, and they're just called yellow and orange. There's no name for these. The crochet pattern is available, it's a free pattern available on Ravelry. Rainbow Ripple blanket. Check out my project page on Rav if you want to find out more information about that. It's just straightforward UK treble crochets or US double crochets, and that's it for the whole blanket, and it's so easy to do. I really enjoyed making that, and I really want to do another one. It's quite a relaxing project, this one was, and I really enjoyed it. The white yarn was Stylecraft as well, the white trim Stylecraft. Yeah, so really enjoyed that. And after I finished that one literally I think the day after I recorded the last video, so yeah, I was so into it. Anyway, so those are the blankets. I've knit a number of Christmas hats that I'm going to be gifting. I can only show you a few of them because, like I said, some of them I've already wrapped up and they're ready to go. This one is, the pattern is Sockhead, and I've talked to you about Sockhead before. That's the pattern, Sockhead, and the yarn is black grey or grey black, Drops Delight, I think it was, or Drops Print. Garn Studio Drops Print yarn in the colour black grey, and it is a really fluffy single ply yarn. Hopefully you can see how fluffy that is. You can see like a little bit of a halo going on around there. This is a child size. The Sockhead pattern is an adult size, and I generally, when I'm making it for a child, I use 120 stitches if I'm using fingering weight yarn, and just work with those stitches and follow the pattern with that. So that's the first one. I have another Sockhead, which is a baby Sockhead. I was trying to finish off some yarn that I had left over. I only had a couple of balls, so they were like 15 grams and maybe 16 grams, something like that. So I decided to practice a bit of, what do you call it, when you alternating yarns. I decided to practice alternating yarns because I had a project that I was going to be working on where I might have to do that. So I've got some, or I had some leftover yarn. The pinky colour that I've used for the rib, that is a Biff Sugar yarns in the colour Introvert. So I've used that, and I've alternated that skein with Gamer Crafting yarn in the colour Pixelated Unicorn, which is the top one. So all the way from here up to about here, I've alternated the two skeins, and then I've run out of Introvert and I've just continued in the Game of Crafting Pixelated Unicorn yarn colourway, and that's that. What I did notice about this little hat is that at the back there you can see a stripe where I've alternated the yarns here. So I'm not sure what I did wrong, or what, hopefully you can see it a bit closer, not sure what I should have done that I did differently. I think I alternated every 2 rows. Yeah, every 2 rows I switched yarn. So on the inside, which doesn't really matter because it's going to be worn, but on the inside it looks like that. But then on the outside, as I said, you can still see a little bit of a stripe. So I'm not quite sure what I did wrong there. If you guys can tell me or give me any pointers on alternating yarns, that would be great. Leave those comments or that info in the comment section below the video, and I would appreciate that. So that's those. I've done another hat. This one I used the Bankhead pattern by Susan Gourlay, I think it is. I will put the information up on screen. I used her pattern for the decreases and for the stitch count, but then I decided I wanted to do something slightly different for the patterning. The yarn I've used I got in a store called B&M in the UK, and I think it's a bulky or chunky yarn, but it didn't actually say on the label what weight it is. Do I have it? Yeah, it just has, this is the label, but it's not got much info. It tells you the needle size to use here, but it doesn't tell you what weight the yarn is. So I just went by the needle size and used a correct needle size, and decided to do this little pattern, which is basically 2x2 rib that's alternated. You can probably see purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, and then here knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and then purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2. And then I've used the Bankhead hat decreases to work out the decreases for the hat, and it's nice. I've put a little piece of paper in because I know who I want that to go to. This is a gift knit as well. So that's it. The decreases are a little bit gathery at the top, which is not like the other hats I've been working on, but still it's fine, it fits nicely, and I'm hoping that the recipient will like that. The next thing I have is a pair of socks. I've been working on some socks using this yarn. This is a Gobstopper yarn by Somerset Yarns, and it's such a beautiful colourway, and it's a sparkle sock yarn. Hopefully you can see that. You can see the sparkle in it. It's so pretty. And I teamed that with Woolly Mama yarns in the colour Berry Lips, which is this one here. The sock pattern I used was more of a recipe. It's a Sockmatician's toe-up sock recipe, and as it self-explanatory, start at the toe and you work your way up. I wanted a pattern where I could do a heel flap and gusset style sock, and this had the recipe for it, so I gave that a try. I messed up a few times on the heel, on the German short row, because the instructions were a little bit puzzling to me, so I messed up a couple of times, and when I redid the German short row and started the heel flap, I forgot completely to do the slip stitch, slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one style heel, and so it just ended up being ordinary stocking stitch. These socks are for my daughter, so hopefully she'll like them. But yeah, so I've done that. The whole sock is just done in stocking stitch because I was just trying to get my head around the recipe, and then I've worked up and done the cuff in garter stitch, which I quite like the look of. Hopefully they'll fit nicely, and they're slightly shorter because I was finishing up the yarn that I had left over from another pair of socks, and that was all of the colour that I had left, so they're kind of shorty socks. But yeah, those are the only socks I've made this time round. It's really funny because normally I make loads and loads of socks, but this time round I've only done one pair of socks. I seem to have kind of lost my sock mojo in a way. So yeah, that's that. So that's my finished knitted stuff. I do have my cross stitch project that I was working on. Do you remember I was working on this mermaid from way back in maybe March or something, and I kept putting it down. I came back to it a couple of months or a couple of videos ago and did a little bit on it, then put it down again. Well, like I said, I got back into the cross stitching and I finished the bookmark. That's what it looks like. The Little Mermaid. It was a free, what would you call it? Free cross stitch pattern from the cross stitch magazine, Simply Cross Stitch, and this is what it looks like completely. I messed up a few times. I mean, I ran out of floss at the bottom here, so I couldn't make it a rounded tail where it was. I couldn't finish it off properly as per the pattern, so I just cut it short and left it there. I did the back stitch slightly wrong because I think I doubled the floss at the top, and then when it came to the bottom I realised it was supposed to be one strand, so then I started to do it one strand. All a bit of a learning curve for me. The back of it looks like this, a little bit of a mess. So I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking I should stick it onto something, because if it's going to be a bookmark, then I wouldn't want the back to be showing. But it gives you the magazine came with the card, so you can gift it to someone and stick it in like that. But then it is intended to actually be a bookmark. So I'm thinking I might need to just stick it onto another fabric just to kind of hide the back, so it actually can be used as a bookmark. And I was thinking maybe a bit of felt would work for that. I don't know. What do you guys do? If you do cross stitch, let me know. What do you do if you're making something like this? How do you cover the back? I mean, I'm not going to frame it because, like I said, it's a bookmark, so I just feel like it's too messy to give to somebody just looking like that and expect them to want to use it as a bookmark when you can see all of that on the back. So yeah, so at the moment I'm dithering about what to do with that. I'm not sure I want to stick it onto a bit of card, or I don't know actually. That's the first time I've thought about sticking it to card. Maybe that would work. But yeah, that is it. That's my finished cross stitch project. And I think those are all my FOs that I have here physically to show you. I'll stick in a couple of pictures of some of the things I have finished up that I don't actually have to show you because I've already wrapped them up ready for gifting. And then we will move on to works in progress. Okay, for works in progress I have the Bark Lines shawl number 2. Like I said, I decided I wanted to do one for myself, and so, sorry, I'm just trying to keep track of stuff down there. So that's the pattern, since I didn't show it in the FO section. That's the pattern by Ho Ho Locatelli, and this is the yarn I'm using. This is Rhapsody Yarns hand-dyed yarn, which is 100% merino, and the colourway is called Gathering Storm, and that's it there. That's the information there. I've got a couple of balls of this, or skeins of this, and I've balled them up, and this is what it looks like knit up. So let's just rearrange it a bit. Here we are. This is where I'm at with the Bark Lines shawl in this colourway, and I'm really enjoying it. It is such an enjoyable knit, I must say. I'm really enjoying working it because it's just one of those ones that I can do in front of the TV. Now that I've got the hang of the pattern from the last one and I know what I'm doing, it's very easy to do, very easy. So until I get to the actual border section, I can just do it mindlessly, I guess. When you get to the border, you've got to concentrate a little bit more. What I found with the last Bark Line shawl was that when I got to row 15 of the pattern, I had to remove all of my stitch markers because they weren't working, they weren't any use for me, they were just confusing me. And so I took them all out at row 15, and then everything just fell into place. So now that I know that I need to get rid of the stitch markers at a certain point, because the stitch markers were marking the pattern repeats for me, so I didn't have to think too hard. But now that I know that I can get rid of them at row 15, then I will know what to do with this, and it should be a lot easier and probably a lot quicker to work on. I had thought about doing it as a two-tone, but I had I had a grey, let me show you. I had this nice grey yarn, but it was, it's a merino cashmere nylon, and it's so soft. And I was thinking the texture of this compared to this, it felt so different. This was a lot more fluffy, and this is kind of a lot, the stitches are a lot less fluffy and quite defined. And I did do this for the twisted rib section, and then I realised that actually I'm not sure that it goes, and I think I'd rather just do this in one colour. This skein is, who is it by? Just try and get that out now. Biff Sugar Yarns in the colourway Lost at Sea, and it's a superwash merino cashmere nylon. It's a lovely colour, but I just felt that it wasn't working with this shawl for me, so I ripped it back to the garter stitch, and then I continued in the Gathering Storm colourway, and I like it. I like that, just that colourway. I think that will be really nice. I may need to use another colour when I get around to the border if I run out of this, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's what I'm working on for myself. So this one is kind of, I'm taking my time with this one because I'm trying to get my Christmas knits finished, and I don't want to spend too much time on that and then just not finish up my Christmas gifts. So yeah, so I'm kind of trying to pace myself with this one. Then I have, what else do I have? I have another hat on the go. All I've been doing is knitting loads and loads of hats. So this is an opal yarn, and I don't know the name of it. I will print it on the screen because it's in another language and I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's a lovely blue and grey colour. And I'm doing the Bankhead hat, and this is where I've got to with this. It's kind of Bankhead style, but it's just 4x1 rib that I think I'm doing here. Yeah, I'm not doing Bankhead, it's similar, but it's not, I'm not putting in the knit row, I'm just doing 4x1 rib for this, and it's very stretchy. It's a little bit harsh to the touch, this yarn. First time I'm using an opal yarn, but I figure that maybe once it's washed it'll be fine, because it's intended to be for socks, so the fact that I'm using it for hats is my own problem, I suppose. But yeah, it is what it is, and I really like the way the colours are coming together, so hopefully I'll have that done soon. This is a fingering weight yarn, so it's going to take me a while to do this, whereas a normal double knit yarn would be a lot quicker. But there you are, that's me, not taking the easy route. And let me show you my little stitch marker. This is my winter stitch marker, Mr. Snowman. Can you see that? Can't tell you where I got it. I got it on Etsy, but I can't remember who it was. I'll try and remember and print the name on the screen there so you can see. So that's that. That's one of my current works in progress. I also have been working on this. This is a Bankhead, another Bankhead, only this is the child size I'm doing, and I'm using the King Cole yarn in the colour Charcoal that I have left over from another hat that I worked on. And that's it there, and this is the hat, and again another cute little stitch marker from that same shop that I got the snowman from. And this time I decided to have a go at doing a double cuff. Double cuff, is that what you call it? You know, when you turn it over, and see how that works out. And I quite like what I've done. I mean, I've not followed a pattern, I've just kind of figured that you stitch into the top of the stitch at the bottom of the rib, if that makes any sense. And I'm doing the Bankhead pattern for this. Hopefully I'll have this done. So somehow I ended up with too many stitches, so I've been decreasing them out here, hoping that it's not really going to be too noticeable. So this is a gift knit as well. But I'm thinking I may do some little mittens to go with it. But yeah, I quite like that doubled over. It feels nice and stretchy. I like that. I was thinking about doing that for some socks as well, because I like the feel of it. It just looks nice and tidy, and it looks a bit more professional, doesn't it? But anyway, that's where I've got to with this. Bankhead by Suzanne Gourlay, I think. and I'm using DK weight yarn, doing the child size, which is 80 stitches. Don't know how I ended up with more than that and had to decrease them out, but never mind. And the yarn is King Cole Splash in the colourway Charcoal. That's that. Those are my whips. Oh, I've got one more. Actually, two more. I've got a cross stitch project as well. So this whip is my memory blanket. I've been working on this yesterday, and I've done another big section. You can see I'm thinking I should do 10 across and then go up as far as I feel like doing, but just to stop at 10 across, and I'm on 9 across at the moment. Yeah, so that's where I am. I'm not going to go into detail about the yarn that I'm using, but these squares are 20 stitches by 20 with the knit two together SSK decreases in the middle there. And where I've got patches like this, it was supposed to be a solid colour squares, but I've used like colours and I've run out of the colour, so I've just patched in, you know, continued in another colour, just on 2 of these, I think. Yeah, that one there and the pink one. Hopefully there won't be too many of those, because I would have liked it to just be a solid blanket, but never mind, whatever. It's just going to have to be what it will be. So that's that. So I'm working on this memory blanket, and just recall, the pattern is free on Ravelry, and that's what it looks like. And it is by Tiki, it says, Georgie Nicholson. Says it at the top there, by Georgie Nicholson. So yeah, so I've got all these. Oops, can you see? Let's see if I can show you. All these odds and ends of yarn to add in. So I may actually use some of them, like this one's quite big. I could probably get a hat out of that, but for little blobbies like this and this, I can use these up in the blanket. So that's the aim. So yeah, so I've been working on that. Quite busy on that one. It's nice and warm when I'm working on it. It just sits in my lap and keeps my lap warm. So that's quite nice to and cosy to work on. Then I have cross stitch. So I've been working on this cute puppy festive card kit, which I got with Simply Cross Stitch magazine. It was a freebie. And like I said, I've been into cross stitching more recently, so I've been having a go. So I did actually make a mistake, because the yarns, the flosses are all bundled together like this when you get them, and then it tells you, like, when you've got the little chart, there are so many greys on there. Hopefully you can see them. I wasn't sure which grey was which, so I started in a particular place. I started with the darkest colour, and then as I started working on the face, I realised that I was using the wrong grey. To me, what they're calling a grey was actually a cream colour. So I took it all out because I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with using the wrong colours, and I wanted to get it right. So I unsewed it, I unravelled it and started again. So I'm kind of not moved on a whole heap from there. So I've done a little bit of the face. I'm learning the French knot. I watched a video by Simply in Stitches, and she gave instructions on how to do the French knot, so I've done it as per her video. But I did mess up on one eye. So one eye's got the little French knot white dot in the middle, and then the other one, either I haven't done it yet or I messed up on it. So yeah, but that's that, and it's meant to look like this. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I do have another cross stitch pattern that I'm working on that I've left in my office drawer at work, so I can't show you that. Maybe I'll bring that home and show you that next time round, because I've made a lot more progress on that than on this one. Because when I get home, I tend to just want to do my knitting, and when I'm at work during my lunch hour and downtime, then I can do a little bit of cross stitching because I've got the natural light shining through, and it's a lot easier to work on like that, and I don't have the distraction of the knitting. So yeah, anyway, so that's that. So that's where I am with my cross stitch. Hopefully by the next time I show you work on this, I will have some progress on it, and it won't just be sitting there for the whole of, I don't know, January or something. I do have a pattern. I have been working on a couple of patterns. So I have a sock pattern that I'm working on, and I have a hat pattern that I'm hoping to release shortly. The hat pattern is called a biscuit hat, and it will be out. I'm not sure if I should show you. I don't think I should show you the pattern because I've not finalised it and published it yet. I don't know. This is my first time doing anything like this. I mean, designing a pattern is a whole new thing to me, so I'm kind of a bit nervous about it, really. So yeah, I have a pattern for the hat. It's called the biscuit hat, so look out for it. It will be coming out soon. I've got it to where I want it to be. It's gone through the test knitting phase, and I've just got to get it published, basically. So when that does come out, I will probably put some information in my Ravelry group maybe, and let you guys know, and also let you know, plug it a little bit in my next video. But for the time being, I think I'm just going to shy away from publicising it until I've actually got it up and got it published, and it is actually available to you. So yeah, so that is it. Hopefully that's a short video. Yeah, half an hour. That's quite good actually, isn't it? Half an hour, and I've showed you everything I've been working on. But yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I have incoming. Give me a moment and we'll have a chat about what I've been buying. Right, so it was my birthday recently. I got some birthday money, and what did I decide to do with it? Buy stuff related to knitting, of course. So I bought these twist shorties, and I posted a picture on my Instagram page. I really had to think then. Just to share with you that I have these new twist shorties and I'm giving them a go. Now, I found the packaging really small. I was surprised by how small it was. Look at, I mean, that's my hand and that's the package. So, you know, it's not huge. For some reason I was expecting something bigger. This is the normal Chaiogoo package that I have, and this is the shorties. So it's very small in comparison. I have only used it for, what have I been using it for? For the hat, which is in here, in my little Christmas tree bag. I've been using it for this hat, the Bankhead, and you get two different tip lengths, 3" and 2", and that's that. That's 5 centimeters and 8 centimeters. So that's the 3" that I'm using with the cable, which is an 8" cable, which brings it up to a 12". No, sorry, 14". I can't do maths. 14". This is a 14" circular needle because I'm using the 3" tips. I do have the option to use the 2" tips, and I will show you. The cable's really thin. That's what I found about these. That's how thin the cable is. Hope you can see that. If I can show you a standard cable, these are Chaiogoo's that I purchased separately on Amazon. That's the normal cable size for the normal Chaiogoo's, and this is the mini, the shorties. Very thin cable. So I am a bit concerned that they might get damaged or snap or something, so I'm being very careful with them. That's the only thing that really I've found. So in this little pouch I've got, let's see, gauge, needle gauge, and the end blockers and some stitch markers and connectors and tightening bolts. And then in the top zip section you have the cables, the 2 sets of cables. Well, I've got one on needle, so it's usually 3 sets of cables, but one's already on a project. And the needles come in this tiny little pouch, and it's got a little presser, and that's what the needles look like. So that's my hand, and that's the size of the needles. So you have the 2-inch needles along the bottom here, small, and then you have the larger ones, the 3-inch along the top. And yeah, I've only used the 14-inch circulars at the moment, so the 3-inch tips and the 8-inch cable. I do plan to use the smaller size cable to make a 9-inch circular so I can use them for socks, but I haven't got round to that yet because, like I said, I've been working on lots of hats for Christmas. So when I do, I'll be able to give you a little bit more of an opinion on these. The biggest size, the smallest size is 2mm, which is a US size 0, and then it goes up to 3.25, which is a US size 3. And that's that. I do like them. I like the fact that they're so small, and because it's small, it's so easy to do the decreases on these needles. So when I get around to doing the hat, doing the decreases on the hat, I don't even need to necessarily change to double pointed needles. I can do the decreases with the same needles, so that's quite handy. I don't have to have loads of needles hanging around. I guess if I used the smaller tips, it would be even better still, because then there's no stretching or tension. But yeah, that is that. I don't have much more of an opinion than that they're really small, and I've yet to try them for socks. For hats, so far I think I've made, did I do 1 hat already on those? And I'm fine. I'm enjoying using them, and I've decided to, no, this is the first hat I'm doing. What's it? I don't even know now. I can't remember. I think it's the second hat I'm making with these, with the Shorties. I've done one already, and now I'm moving on to these ones. So yeah, we'll see how I get on. We shall see how I get on. But that's it. That is it from me. I don't have much else to say. That's the only thing I've been buying, I suppose, is the Twist Shorties and magazines, Cross Stitch magazine and Simply Knitting magazine and Simply Crochet magazine. I've been concentrating on spending my money on my Christmas shopping rather than on my knitting. Hopefully in January I can get back to buying some nice new hand-dyed yarns. I'm trying to work out some of my hand-dyed yarns out of my stash so I can actually buy new ones, but I want to finish up what I've got, use what I have, and then re-evaluate my collection, see what I've got in my stash, and if I need to buy more to make particular things, then I need to do that. I think I need to essentially curb my spending and plan my projects a bit better now. Now that I've kind of got over the initial excitement of having the hand-dyed yarns, I need to actually start planning things a bit more and deciding what I'm going to make first, and then getting the yarn for that project, rather than looking at the yarn and going, oh, that looks nice, let me buy that, put it down in case I want it for something. And then I realise that, oh, actually it'd be nice to make a jumper out of that, but then I think I don't have enough of it, or it's not the right weight. So yeah, I've got to kind of recondition my thinking so that I think about the project first and then buy the yarn after. That's my plan, so wish me luck with that. Anyway, that's it. I think that is all I've got to share with you. I don't have anything else to say really, except that I really do hope you have a wonderful Christmas holiday or Christmas break or whatever it is you celebrate at this time of year. I hope you do have a nice break, and I will be back in the new year with possibly some new things to show you, if I manage to get any knitting done or anything else. But yeah, this is my last video before next year, I guess. So yeah, thank you so much to those of you that have joined, subscribed to my channel, have been watching me and have been engaging in conversation with me. Don't forget, I have a knit along going on, knit along, crochet along, make along, let's call it a make along, going on in my Ravelry group, Ellinesscrafts, which is the Winter Warmers Cowl. Do come on over. It goes on until the beginning of February, so you've got enough time after Christmas to still get in there and do a couple of bits and pieces. So yeah, there are prizes. Thank you to those people that have donated prizes to the cowl. I'm really grateful. I was really surprised when you contacted me and told me that you'd like to make something or donate something to the cowl. That was really fabulous. I was speechless. I didn't really know what to say. I was just like, wow, blown away by your generosity. Thank you. So there are prizes. There are more than one prizes. Go on over to the Ravelry group and check out what's going on over there. See what people have been posting, what people have been making. It's really nice to see what everyone's knitting, get ideas and for patterns and stuff. So it's really cool. So check that out. The prizes are listed there as well as they come in. As people keep offering to donate stuff, I've listed those prizes in the information thread, so do check that out. But yeah, that is it. I think that's it. I'm gonna leave it there. Don't want to keep you too long, and say happy Christmas to those of you that celebrate, and I hope you have a lovely December, I guess, and see you in January. Bye.